Hey guys, you see the Pillager back with a new video. I know it's been a while, but I'm here to release this video. As you can see here, Jace is looking into your soul pretty much. This is a really cool mat I got. It's Planeswalkers playing in a poker table mat. I bought on eBay. It's pretty nice. It's by an artist named Aldo Dominguez. Like if you want to look it up, it's online. Just look for it on eBay and you'll be able to find it. Today I'm releasing a video based on what I've been doing lately. I haven't released much videos and stuff like that. It's basically because a lot of issues with my job and work and all that. I had a lot of time constraints and I can't always promise that I'll release videos as much, but whenever I can, I will post it and everything. And if any viewers demand that videos should be posted, I will reply to them and I will eventually post videos. Give me the willpower to do it. But basically, I'm here to talk about Magic the Gathering today, based on a deck that I compiled, which I think is gonna get stronger in the future amidst the release of Born of the Gods. Yes, I know the spoilers, I know the cards that are coming out and all that. I'm pretty excited. I've already pre-ordered the pre-release set as well, the box and all that. Probably buy a booster box as well. Or maybe not. I think it's a smarter alternative just to buy the singles by themselves, not just buy the booster box, go crazy, hoping that you'll get the cards you want to get. But I think buying the singles is a better idea. Like that you save money. Because booster boxes is just raising your hopes, hoping that you'll get the cards that you want. In most of the cases, that doesn't happen because I've bought booster boxes and I don't get the cards that I want sometimes. Well, without further ado, let's just get right to the deck that I want to show. It's a standard deck for standard before Born of the Gods. Mind you, some cards will get altered. Before that, I had 3 decks. I actually had a mono black deck, which was pretty much complete, but it was missing one card that was high in demand, which is Mutavault, which I only have one, but I would like to have more of them, but the price just keeps going up and up and up. It just staggers like every day that passes by. Yeah, when it first came out, when I got the fat pack, it was $15, but right now it's actually, I believe, 35 or 38, and there's no stopping the force of that card. It's just gonna go up and up and up, or maybe it just stays there at that point. But it's really high in demand, and when I get my tax returns, I'll probably buy like a bunch. So yeah, that's what I plan to do. And my second one was Red Deck Wins, but it's not that consistent. So, and the other one I was working on, which was a complete failure, was the Jund deck. So amidst that Jund deck, I wanted to compile a deck that compares, that can counter, has draw advantage, and is pretty stable and strong. So the deck I'm gonna bring out is actually a Bant deck. Now this deck is purely experimental. There's still some cards that I feel should fit in until Born of the Gods comes in and all that. But here's the deck more or less. Sideboard is okay, but as I said, I'll work with it to see what I can get out of it. So this is what I run. In the Bant deck, I run Judge's Familiar. The Judge's Familiar is a 1-drop from Return to Ravnica hybrid, white and blue. It's a flyer for 1/1, and it says when you sacrifice it, you counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1. We're looking at you, Esper. A problem that I've noticed when I played Standard is the Esper decks, because the Esper has removal and control, and they can just stand by at every move. They don't even have to go first. They can go second, and they'll still watch your every move and try to take you out in the best way you can. So, as one of the cards I have in the Bant deck is this. So if they want to play a spell, I just counter it and just look at their mana, see if they're able to pay it or not. Most cases, yeah, they might have it or they might not, but you just got to keep an eye on how much they have mana floating and all that. So I run actually 3 of these for the deck, as you can see. So that's my 1-drop. I did the deck based on consistency of the mana curve. So the next card is this one here. It's Sylvan Caryatid. It's a 1 colorless and 1 green. Defender hexproof. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool when it's tapped. It's a 0/3. This card is great when you need more mana or you need colors, certain colors for your mana pool. Now, a deck like this that I run, which is 3 colors, which is green, white, blue, sometimes you have situations where you might get mana screwed and you might not have the right amount of mana. This is the card that will fix your problem. And for that, I suggest, if you do run a 3-color deck, you gotta run 4 of these just to have consistency all the time. And that's basically what it does. It does the job of getting the mana when you need it. So, as I said, I run 4 of these, and it will really help you out. My next card is Loxodon Smiter. It's a 3-drop, 1 colorless, green, white. Says Loxodon Smiter can't be countered. If a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard Loxodon Smiter, put it to the battlefield instead of putting it to your graveyard. And it's a 4/4 for 3. This card is great value. So you basically pay off for a creature that has 3 mana and is a 4/4. By doing this, you're ahead of every other card that might come up as a 3-drop for a 4/4, and its ability, including the fact if a spell or ability causes it to discard, it maintains battlefield presence. And this is a strong force to be reckoned with. Now, there is one card that I really hate with a burning passion, and I want to counter it so bad if I do see it, is Devour Flesh. Devour Flesh is a sacrifice spell. It's an instant, 1 colorless and 1 black. That card needs to be removed somehow or something like that, because every time I encounter that card, it just ruins my day. So that's one purpose why I built that deck as well. So if they say, oh, I discard Loxodon Smiter, sacrifice it, and I say, oh, it's a spell, right? Okay, I bring it back. I don't really know how Devour Flesh works around. It causes me to remove it. Still, the mechanic of Devour Flesh itself is ridiculous, and by having this, it just limits the opponent's options. So that's why I run 3 of these to maintain presence, because you never know. Next is a card that will help with gain life, and it will help me as well draw card advantage as well, which is Horizon Chimera. It's a 2 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue, flash. And it's flying and trample. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 1 life. So every time I draw a card, I gain 1 life. So the whole purpose of this is maintain presence with a flyer. And it's a 4 mana. So far, every creature I have, it had a curve. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I've tried to reach consistency within 3 colors. What makes this great is it actually combos off with a certain card, which I will show later, the combos that my deck creates. So I run 3 of these. The next is a interesting card. When this came out, it was pretty ridiculous, and I had to add this in my deck, and I said, oh, I would love to work around this card. Card is Prophet of Kruphix. It's a 3 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue, and it says on top, all creatures and lands you control during each other player's on top step, you may cast creature cards as though they have flash. It's a 2/3. May be weak, but its abilities are very amazing. That means that I can untap lands and the creatures that I cast have flash. So I could counter spells even on opponent's turns because I will have mana open. Problem is, the moment they see this, they will try to kill it immediately. So I don't run this as, a main purpose of my deck. I run 2 of these. People run 3, people run 4, but I run 2 because I want to, see if I have the possibility of having this around or maybe not. Because people that try to get consistent with this card, opponents will always try to focus and I'll always try to bring it down. So I only run 2. Now, for a card that can really protect itself, in my opinion, is Aetherling. I run them as a 1-of. Aetherling is a really good card. It's 6 mana. It's expensive, but read its ability is what it does. You can exile it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So basically, if an opponent wants to do a spell on either link to try to destroy it, try to kill it, or anything like that, I just flash it up. It's unblockable. I could pay that. I could pay the additional if I want to make it, you know, active and attacking or defensive. I can pay that as well, which is no problem at all. He's a 4/5 and he is a must and buy deck in my opinion. I really like him a lot. So I only have one of him. Now the next creature is a 6-drop, which I'm going to show you now. It's 2 colorless, 2 green, and 2 blue. It's Prime Speaker Zegana from Gatecrash. Prime Speaker Zegana enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, among where X is the greatest power among other creatures you control. Whenever Prime Speaker Zegana enters the battlefield, draw cards equal to its power. It's a 1/1, but like its ability says, it could get pumped up. But here's the thing about her. I use her kind of like a draw card advantage card to help me draw cards when I really need it. People say use Sphinx and all that, and like, yeah, I could use Sphinx, but Sphinx is a really good card, but you know, I don't use it in the deck really because of the colors and all that. So I can, but I decide not to. I run 2 of her because why do I run 2 of her? Because she's a legendary, and like the legendary rule applies. It says, oh, you could only have 1 in play because if I play another one, they both die basically. So I only use this card in dire situations where I need to draw cards, and it combos really nicely with Horizon Chimera. So if I have Horizon Chimera and I play Prime Speaker, it's really good. And basically I'll be gaining life while I draw cards. So I have 2 of her. Next card I have is really a card that I said when I saw this I wanted to see play. Again, when I made this deck I said it was an experimental deck. So this is the next card I want to show you, which is a 4 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue Progenitor Mimic. It's a shapeshifter, and it says you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature in the battlefield, except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep. If this creature is in a token, put a token to the battlefield that's a copy of this creature. Now this is basically a clone, basically. So the purpose of having him around is try to keep him alive as much as you can so you can make more tokens of whatever creature you want to clone. So he is a great card to have, and he's a force to be reckoned with if he's not being taken over. So I have this card. He's a 1-of, but as I said, is experimental, so I want to make him see play. So that's pretty much the purpose of why I brought him in. And the next card I bring in is Thassa, God of the Sea. It's a 2 colorless, 1 blue. And the purpose why I have Thassa is this. It's not because I want to, you know, get the vultures for her to make her a creature or anything like that. It's just the upkeep with Scry 1. That's the feature I want. Including the target creature control can't be blocked this turn as well. That's the reason why I want to have her in my deck, is because of that. By having that, I will know what the next card in my deck is going to be. And the fact that it's a 3-color deck, it's very important that you got to know what your next card is going to be. And that nice little bonus that, you know, the creature that you control can't be blocked this turn as well, is a really nice add-on to it as well. So I have 1 of her. And the next card I have is an artifact. It's Bite on Thassa. 2 colors, 2 blue. And it says, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. It's really good for draw card advantage, as long as you swing and you do the damage, you get to draw cards. And if you pull it off with a combo Horizon Chimera, you get life as well, so you can maintain presence in the game. So it's another great card. I have 1 in this deck. Now the next cards are gonna be sorceries, instants, spells of that sort, which is the first spell I run is an instant, 1 blue, Rapid Hybridization. Now Rapid Hybridization is a card that you use on particular creatures, in my opinion, which are really strong and are a force to be reckoned with. For example, One creature I find annoying is it's a white-black creature, and I really don't like it a lot. He's a 5-drop, I think, 4/4 lifelink, and eventually can become a 10/10, which is Blood Baron of Escopa. You use it on him, you turn him into a 3/3, and you pretty much destroy their chances of becoming lifelink and getting stronger. I run 3 of these. You only use it in situations where you're dealing with big creatures and you say, I just want to reduce it. Now, one of the creatures you could also take out is probably not Obzadot, because Obzadot, you know, he could still blink out, but I do have a solution for that. Any other creatures that you believe are really strong that are very big problem, like Desecration Demon or anything like that, it really helps. So I run 3 of these. And the excellent thing about this is my deck has another card that actually combos off of this that causes removal, which is Simic Charm. I run 3 Simic Charms to give me options. Simic Charm is a green-blue instant, and it gives me 3 options, and I get to choose one of them. If I get aggressive, I can make my creature become a 3/3, or if I want to become a defensive, I use Hexproof, or if I combo it off with this Rapid Hybridization, I just Simic Charm the creature, which becomes a 3/3 token. I just use the return target creature to owner's hand. What happens to the token? Token disappears. So it makes their card pretty much useless. So I run 3 of these just to have options around. Now my next card is strictly on counter spelling, which I run 2 Syncopates. One X colorless and one blue, and it says counter target spell until its controller pays X. If that spell's countered this way, exile it instead of putting it to its owner's graveyard. This is excellent, but keep in mind, you gotta keep in mind and look how much mana they have in their arsenal if they're able to bring out any spells or creatures or anything like that, you know, of that nature. So that's what you gotta keep an eye on, because you never know. I run 2 of these. The next is an enchantment. I run 2 of these enchantments. Detention Sphere. 1 white, 1 colorless, 1 white, and 1 blue. And it says it exiles the target, whatever target permanent it is, and if it's the same name of that permanent goes into the sphere. Pretty much, it's a really good removal spell, and I run 2 of these. Thing is, there's some creatures that in standard that, you know, are immune to white or blue pretty much. So I only run 2 of these just to have options. And the next card I have is a instant, which is Dissolve. I run 3 of these, 1 colorless, add 2 blue. It says counter target spell, scry 1. By doing this, it's just a really good counter, and it lets you have library advantage, so you can look at the card what's coming up next. So I run 3 of these. Next card, which is a must in my deck, and I really do need this, is Plasm Capture. Plasm Capture, 2 green, 2 blue. It says counter target spell at the beginning of your next pre-combat main phase. Add X mana and combination of colors to your mana pool, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. This is a very excellent counter spell for my deck. Why? Because since my deck has 3 colors, it adds mana, and not only that, when it becomes my turn, I have the mana that I generate from the lands, including the extra mana from the counter spell. So I have a lot of mana to deal with, and I have options. And this card is really amazing to run in a Bant deck, or anything that runs green and blue. It could be Simic, it could be Bug, it could be any type of deck. I run 3 of these. Next card is Primeval Bounty. 5 colors and 1 green. It's enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 3/3 green beast. Whenever you cast a non-creature, you put 3 1/1s. Whenever land enters, you gain 3. This card is basically a one-of, but if this card gets pulled off and you could bring it out, it's perfect. It's the perfect card to have around, and it gives you great advantage into winning the game. Problem is, you know, enchantments can be countered so much and all that, so I only run one of. But if the conditions are right, you can win the game with it actually. And these are my lands. I run 4 breeding pools, 4 Hallowed Fountains, 4 Temple Gardens, 4 Temple Mysteries, 2 Forests, 2 Island, and 2 Plains. I would run Mutavaults on it, but as I said, I'm scarce with the Mutavaults, and more would be nice, but I don't have that much for Mutavaults, so. But yeah, that's basically my main deck. Now I want to show you my sideboard, which is pretty interesting, but it still needs more work on it. So if I need to be more aggressive, I have these 2 right here, which is Blind Obedience. I run 2 of these, 1 colorless, 1 white, and I use the extort mechanic. So it says artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tap. By doing this, I do damage, and I also gain the life every time I play a spell. So for example, if I Plasm Capture and I do spell, and I do Blind Obedience, and then I say extort, I do the damage and I gain life. Why is it sideboarded? That's because I want to see if they're able to counter enchantments or not. That's why I have the Detention Sphere. Detention Sphere is a must, which I think the Detention Sphere, in my opinion, is much better to have around than Blind Obedience. If there's no way they can counter enchantments, then bring in the Blind Obedience and just be aggressive with it. My next card is actually interesting, which is underplayed, but it is a great card. It's sideboarded because I'm afraid that, you know, it might get killed. Maybe it doesn't, because if you're fast enough to cast this, it won't get killed. So I have this card. It is Console of the Absolute. 2 colorless, 1 white, 1 blue. And it says, as Console of the Absolute enters the battlefield, name a card other than a creature or land card. Your opponents can't cast cards with the chosen name. Spell with the chosen name you cast costs 2 less to cast. It's a 2/4. Now, this is how this works. Every time you play Console of the Absolute, here's the thing you got to keep in mind. Always play it defensively. Always. That means when you use this card, you always use it if you know the opponent has destructive spells or destructive planeswalkers. For example, if I bring on Console of the Absolute, I could say, I bring it in and I say Devour Flesh. The opponent cannot cast Devour Flesh. I bring it in, I say Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Can't bring that in. Things like that. The opponent will take notice of this, that they can't cast the cards of that name. So what they're going to try to do is try to kill it. And you got to try to protect it and everything. That's why I have the counter spells in my deck, to make sure it maintains presence. Not only that, to make sure I get consistency, I run 4 of these, so I could get the maximum amount of countering I can. By doing that, you know, it gives a fair advantage in the game. But as I said, you got to be very wise, and you got to know how to use a card. First off, you always use it defensively. But if you use it aggressively, like if you use it to your advantage and you see that it's to your advantage to use it, go ahead and do it. But with that card, always use it defensively. Another card I have here is Into the Wilds. It's a 3 colorless, 1 green. Enchantment, at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it into the battlefield. This card basically combos off with Horizon Chimera. This card I have is sideboarded because, as I said, if enchantments don't get destroyed as much, if your opponent doesn't do a lot of enchantment destroying, it's a great card. Because why? 1, this card prevents you from getting mana screwed. So like if you're not drawing enough lands, this helps you lands and the skin of your deck. And you know, it's before the draw card phase. So if you upkeep, you draw a land, you put land, and it's not considered a land drop. So if you draw a land and you have another land, for example, in your hand, or you draw a land, you basically got 2 lands in 1 turn, which is excellent. And I only run 1 because of the risk that, you know, they might destroy enchantments or something like that. So yeah, so I only run 1 of. Next card is 2 of, which is Mistcutter Hydra. It's X colorless and green. It says it can't be countered. It hits haste, protection from blue, and it enters the battlefield with X ++1/+1 counters on it. Now, if you know the opponent, for example, runs mono blue, this is the creature. I recommend that to be ran in the Bant deck that I run, or anything that runs green blue or bug or anything like that. Because if you have Plasm Capture in your arsenal and you do Plasm Capture a spell, including you do have the lands that generate mana, you make this creature as strong as you can with all the mana they have in your arsenal. And he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with if you do bring him out. Keep in mind, when you bring him out, be careful that you don't get, you know, destroyed by any other spell. So you always got to keep a little mana open, and you got to keep an eye out on your cards. So as long as you have another solution before Mistcutter Hydra comes in, you could do it. Be my guest and you could use the cards. But as I said, it's a force to be reckoned with in the right conditions. And also I run 2 Ratchet Bombs, which is questionable at the moment. I was actually considering putting Varel the Hulk Clade, but the problem is she's legendary creature. You know, I want to run multiple legendaries, but she's kind of weak and all that. So I was hoping to add more counters on Ratchet Bomb so Ratchet Bomb could do its damage. But, you know, as I said, the sideboard is meh. It's not that great. But 2 Ratchet Bombs is okay. I mean, when Born of the Gods comes out, my deck will change a bit, you know. It's going to come out, like, I think in a week or 2 weeks already, more or less. But yeah, 2 Supreme Verdicts for the aggro decks, or for the population decks. 1 colorless, 2 white, 1 blue. You know, it can't be countered. It destroys all creatures and all that. And then 2 Swan Songs, which rarely sees play. But I'm running Swan Song because I want to counter the enchantments. Basically just to counter target enchantment. The instant or sorcery spell I'm not worried so much. It's about the enchantments, because the new set, they have ridiculous gods coming out. And there's one in particular that I'm afraid of, which is Xenagos, which basically doubles your doubles the creature pretty much and all that. And that creature, if it lands and it stays at battlefield presence, is going to be very hard to remove, only if you have exile and all that. And that's the only way you can do that. And I think, I don't know, I'm not sure. Maybe the Detention Sphere could take it. I don't know. I think it can. I'm not sure. But Swan Songs is a must in my deck, so I run 2 of them. And there you have it. That's the Bant deck that I'm running for Standard. Sorry the video took a little long. You know, I didn't really plan for this video. But as I said, like, you know, I had a lot to do lately. I haven't released much, and I planned to release more, but I'm not going to say a time or date because I'm very bad at that. But I will release more videos, hoping, you know, I release more. But yeah, when the Born of the Gods comes out, definitely I'm going to post a video of that. Post a video of the Born of the Gods pre-release box and all that. Also, I'm going to post Magic the Gathering Online, which I do have, which I'm going to post. And what else I'm going to post? Some video games I will post. Infinite Crisis, I don't know, maybe I post some, because lately it's in beta. You know, I could run multiple videos if, you know, if that's what you guys like or anything like that. I'll put more. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. You know, I'll put more video games, I'll put more stuff out. As I said, I'm not gonna say a time or date, but that's what I'm gonna do. And if you wanna get this mat, you can look for it at eBay. It's Planeswalkers. I'm playing on a poker table. It's really cool. If you really like Magic the Gathering like I do, you'll enjoy this product. And sorry if the video took long, you know, because I had to explain myself quite a bit. And I just wanted to show you guys the deck that I built. It's probably gonna change. I would like to go back to mono black. Once I get the Mutavaults, I'll be up and running to do the mono black, because I played it before, and without the Mutavaults, it doesn't really have too much results. It's not that good, but I really want to get it. By the time I get tax returns, I'm gonna have plenty of money, so I have nothing that much to worry about. But at the moment, that's what I'm bringing out. So soon there'll be more videos and more stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is See the Pillager signing out. Have a nice day.